Did Caesar want to save Rome or conquer it? This is the story of how ambition gave birth to betrayal, how one man pushed the limits of power. He built Rome, but also destroyed it with his own hands. Julius Caesar, the man who changed Rome. Introduction. Some people are born to break the walls of their own age. Julius Caesar was one of them, a brilliant politician, an exceptional leader, and a commander who never feared to fight his own destiny. Yet he was also one of the most dangerous legends Rome had ever witnessed. But what could make a Roman citizen even think of destroying the Republic? How could a commander lead a massive army against his own state? And most importantly, did Caesar want to save Rome, or did he want to conquer it for himself? If you're ready, let's begin. 1. A difficult beginning, the shadow of Sulla, 81 BC. After 8 years of terrifying civil war, the leader of Rome was General Lucius Cornelius Sulla. The Republic's emergency office of dictatorship was supposed to last 6 months, but Sulla broke this rule and executed his opponents without limit. In this chaos, Gaius Julius Caesar began to take his place. His family was noble but had grown poor over time. However, Caesar's uncle Marius and his father-in-law, Cinna, were sworn enemies of Sulla. Sulla sent Caesar a message: divorce Cornelia. Two possibilities stood before him: either give up the woman he loved and his political loyalty, or lose his life. Caesar refused to abandon his wife. His name was added to the death list. He hid from city to city, and when captured was released only after a ransom was paid. After constant pleas from his family, Sulla finally pardoned him. But from that moment, Rome was no longer a safe place. Caesar joined the army. There he not only learned how to wield a sword, but also discovered what the structure of an empire truly meant. For saving a wounded soldier in battle, he received the Corona Civica, the most honorable military award in Rome. This unique medal made him one of the men, respected by the entire army. 2. Return to Rome. Name, money, alliance. When Sulla died in the 78 BC, Caesar decided to return to Rome. Although he worked as a lawyer, his true goal was always politics. The city, however, was in ruins. Injustice was deep, corruption widespread. As a popularis supporter of the people, Caesar began to think, if I have power, I can make change. But power required a great deal of money, and he started to fall into debt. At that time, a major event shook Rome: the Spartacus slave revolt, 73 BC. The mission to suppress it was given to Rome's richest man, Marcus Licinius Crassus. Caesar and Crassus began to grow close. Crassus provided financial support, and Caesar quickly rose in politics and diplomacy. Meanwhile, another brilliant general was rising: Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, Madam Pompey. Crassus and Pompey despised each other, even hated one another. Caesar seized the opportunity. He reconciled the two rivals, making himself indispensable. When Cornelia died in 69 BC, Caesar was deeply affected. Yet even his grief became political. He organized a grand public funeral for his wife and publicly honored Marius and Cinna with funeral masks. This angered the conservative senator Cato the Younger, marking the beginning of their lifelong rivalry. 3. The first triumvirate in the road to the consulship. Caesar used his intellect to form one of the most strategic alliances in history: Crassus, wealth, plus Pompey, military, plus Caesar, politics. No one knew of this pact at first, later known as the First Triumvirate. Through mutual benefit and family ties, Caesar's daughter Julia married Pompey. The alliance grew stronger. With their support, Caesar was elected consul in 59 BC and later secured the governorship of Gaul. This became the turning point of his career, as Gaul would elevate him above all others in Rome. The Gallic Wars, victory, propaganda, and the dark side. Gaul, modern France and Belgium, was home to many powerful tribes. Caesar first stopped the Helvetii migration successfully, then under the pretext of protecting allies, expanded the conflict. War was not only fought on the battlefield, Caesar also fought with his pen. During the campaigns, he wrote his famous work, Commentari de Bello Gallico, and had it read publicly every year throughout Rome. For 8 years, he ruled through divide and conquer, alliances, and surprise attacks. His genius lay not only in strategy but also in storytelling. Yet his victories came with a heavy cost. Countless people were killed or enslaved. Modern historians describe this era as leaving behind a great tragedy. In 52 BC, Vercingetorix came close to uniting all of Gaul. During the siege of Alesia, Caesar ordered 2 lines of fortifications, one facing inward, one outward, starving those inside while blocking reinforcements from outside. This double-line tactic was one of the most advanced engineering strategies in history. Alesia surrendered and Gaul fell, but political balance collapsed. Julia died, family bonds were broken, and Crassus perished in the Parthian campaign. The triumvirate dissolved. In Rome, Cato and the Senate began to say, "Caesar has crossed the line." Rubicon, no turning back. In 49 BC, the Senate ordered Caesar to disband his army and return alone, which meant trial and exile. Caesar stood on the banks of a small river called the Rubicon and spoke the word that would echo through history. Alea iacta est. The die is cast. Civil war erupted. Pompey and the Optimates retreated from Italy and gathered a huge army in Greece. The decisive battle came at Pharsalus, 48 BC. Pompey had numbers, Caesar had experience. Caesar defeated Pompey's cavalry using hidden spearmen and claimed victory. Pompey fled to Egypt, but there he met his end. Caesar followed, forming a political and personal alliance with Cleopatra. Later, he crushed Cato's resistance in North Africa. Cato took his own life in Utica, remembered as the proud death of the Republic. The dictator's return, reform, glory, and pride. Caesar returned to Rome in triumph, 46 BC. Celebrations filled the city. His face was painted red, symbolizing divine power, while a slave whispered in his ear, "Remember, you are mortal." Caesar was officially declared a dictator, a position meant to be temporary, but he extended it, eventually holding it for life. Yet he did not only rule, he reformed. He created the Julian calendar, reorganized taxes and debts, granted land to veterans, began urban and construction projects. Still, the aristocracy was uneasy. Caesar's purple toga, his gestures toward kingship, his hints of divine rule, these angered many. Although some citizens celebrated him, others shouted, "Rome has not had a king in 400 years." Soon, conspiracies began to form. The Ides, Blades and Silence. 44 BC, March 15th. The Ides of March. In the Senate, a group of men surrounded Caesar under the pretense of offering petitions. Among them was Marcus Junius Brutus. Blades flashed. The famous line, "Et tu, Brute," was later written by Shakespeare. Ancient sources differ, but the pain was the same, a dagger from one he trusted most, and Caesar fell. Aftermath, The Republic did not rise again. The Empire was born. The assassins believed they had restored the Republic, but the opposite happened. Rome descended into new civil wars. Mark Antony and Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, fought for power for years. Eventually, Octavian became Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. Caesar had died, but the path he left behind transformed Rome into an empire. His name became the title of rulers for centuries: Caesar, Kaiser, Tsar. His legacy has two sides: genius, order, law, and reform, but also ruthless conquest, personal ambition, and the end of the Republic. Great talents often come with great ambition, and when ambition loses control, the creator is devoured by his own creation. Conclusion: Caesar's story is not only about gaining power, but also about how that power is used. He both expanded Rome and broke its balance. Even today, his name remains one of the brightest and most debated in history.